Hey all, it's Nat and welcome to another interview from the Wellbeing Within Lockdown interview series. I'm Nat Ferrier and joining me today is Joergette Mae Medel. She is, welcome darling.
Hello.
It's so great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. She is the soul igniter, a passion coach and an intuitive guide. Through her transformational program, she supports women to rise and transform their pain into passion, purpose, and power so that they can ultimately live their passions and love their life. And amongst her many accolades, Joergette is a certified passion test facilitator, Heal Your Life teacher, and Art of Feminine Presence teacher. And she's also a recipient of the iconic Leaders Creating a Better World for All award at the annual Women Economic Forum in India 2019. Wow.
It's a bit of a mouthful.
I know. Joergette is going to be talking to us today about how to live your passions and love your life during lockdown. Beautiful to have you here, darling.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did you want to tell us a little bit more in your own words about you, what you do and who you help?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I just want to say thank you so much for having me on this interview series, Nat. I'm truly honored and truly humbled. So as you mentioned, my name is Joergette Mae Medel. I am the soul igniter, and people are probably wondering what the heck is a soul igniter. So
tell us more.
So I'm a passion coach and an intuitive guide. So essentially I've packaged that all into the one and call myself the soul igniter. Because essentially what I do is I absolutely love igniting souls and setting souls on fire. Yeah. So what I do is I work with women who are in a little bit of a transition, and I support them in igniting their souls to rise so that they can transform their pain into passion, purpose, and power. So I, love working with women. I, work with men as well, but majority of people who come to me are essentially women. I think because of my own journey as well, of where I've come from and how I've come to be where I am today. So that's a little bit about me in a nutshell.
In a nutshell. Beautiful. What got you into this work, just out of curiosity?
What got me into this work? Life. So I started my personal development journey back in 2006. And I remember sitting in the auditorium, was watching Christopher Howard. I don't know if you remember Christopher Howard. It was a 3-day breakthrough to success seminar. Mm-hmm. And I remember this was like my whole introduction into personal development. And I'm sitting in there. I was like, wow, I want to be that guy on stage, right? I want to do what he's doing.
Yeah.
And so that's what really started me on this path. And I, through that, I became a coach. I wanted to develop myself even more. Like I've done NLP. I don't call myself an NLP coach because that's not really the main modality that I use. But, I've done a lot of so much programs that, I've done Tony Robbins, I've done spiritual, from personal development programs, dived even deeper into spirituality. Yep. Ended up going to Nepal on a spiritual retreat to really get into my spirituality. I went through a divorce, separation, and through that I that was very challenging in itself. But
it's an initiation in itself, for sure.
That was an initiation. But before that, I was already starting this spiritual awakening, which I think had led to that separation and divorce. Yes. From that, I'm now I have a beautiful soulful partnership now with my partner. Yay. And we have a blended family. So I have 2 older kids with my ex-husband, mm-hmm. and my partner and I also have now 4-year-old twin girls. Together. So, if it wasn't for that journey, if that marriage didn't dissolve, I probably wouldn't be where I am today with this beautiful, beautiful partnership, which is completely different to what I had experienced in the past. So that was a blessing in disguise. I can see that now. Beautiful.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes a while, hey, for the insight to drop in while you're in it. Yeah. It's a bit like,
it's hard when you're in it, because when you're actually going through the stuff, it's like, why is this happening to me? But I always believe that everything is happening for you, right? Not to you, everything's happening for you. And, I can say that now because I can look back and go, oh, if it wasn't because of this, I wouldn't have gone to there, and this wouldn't have happened. So everything is like a piece to a jigsaw puzzle. Yes. Right. And it happens, but you might not, it's like you have this piece, but you don't quite know where that fits yet.
Yes.
And so everything that happens for us is really just, for me, this is the way that I see it, they're pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. Yep. And, you know, in time, in hindsight, when we've got perspective, it's like, oh, that fits there. Oh, that's the piece.
Now I get it.
Oh, now I can see the bigger picture.
Looking down on it from here.
Exactly, right? When you're up here, it's like, oh, yeah, that makes complete sense right now. Yeah. But when you're actually going through it, it's like, why?
Like I'm at the bottom of an ocean inside a washing machine. When
exactly.
Is this going to end? Yes.
So, you know, but it's fascinating because, you know, there's so much happening in the world right now. And I feel like, you know, everyone's going through their own stuff right now because this whole lockdown, and it's like you've got nowhere else to go but to face your own stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like well, not everyone, but most people are in lockdown. You know, can't go anywhere. And it's like you've got nowhere else to go. You've got nothing else that can actually drown out the crap. It's like, so you're actually being forced to really look at your stuff and be present with it and just embrace it and actually accept it. Whereas for a long time, I feel like a lot of people have actually just run away from their stuff. It's like buried it under the carpet, not wanting to look at it. Whereas now you've got no other choice but to actually look at, and that's painful. Yeah, that can be painful. That can be a really painful process. Okay. Especially if you're not aware of what's going on. Yeah. Social and the busyness of life, the way we were living before, certainly kind of made it very easy to escape from that, didn't it? Until all of a sudden they went there. And then all of a sudden it's like, nah, you're gonna have to do this now. You're gonna have to actually do this work now. Yeah. And that's why I see a lot of people struggling because they're like, for a long time they've drowned out the noise, you know, so well through other things, and now it's like, oh, I've got nothing else to do but sit in it's like, you know, sitting in the fire of that, and that
break open,
really uncomfortable, but through that process, that's how you crack open. It's like the more you lean into the pain, the more you just stop resisting it. And through the resistance, that's when you actually can come through the other side and go, okay. Because you've got to feel it to heal it. Yeah. Feeling is healing. If you don't allow yourself to feel it, then you can't actually heal it.
Yes. Funnily enough. It's like you can do all kinds of fancy energy stuff, and Lord knows I've learned and tried plenty of it on my own journey, right? I mean, you can temporarily remove that thing, but it's like if you didn't get the download up here as to why you were learning it in the first place, it's unfortunate. And I don't want to set it up that, you know, people re-manifest things that they've already healed, but you know, it seems like a little bit sometimes you go in Groundhog Day unless you kind of get that download on
it's that actually does happen though. It's like the way that I see it, right? It's like the universe is throwing pebbles your way. It's like, hey, look at this, hey, look at that. But if you're not paying attention to it and you're not actually consciously aware of it, it's like you know, if you don't listen to it, the universe eventually will
throw harder.
Like, I'm going to throw this massive boulder your way. Right? And so you can't dodge this now. And so that's what happens. That's the groundhog. That's the cycle. It's this never-ending cycle until you get the lesson. Until you receive the lesson, until you go, okay, I get it now. And then you can make a different choice, right? It's like, you know, they say women or men dating the same person over and over again, just with a different face, right? Because you haven't quite learned the lesson from the previous.
Worked out why you're so attached to that unavailable individual or whoever.
Exactly.
So, and what you're really getting out of that. As sad as and hard as that one is to admit out loud. Yeah,
but it's if you're not, you know, you might be, but there's always a part of us that kind of knows that there's okay, this isn't right, or there's something not quite right with this, but we just settle. Yeah, we settle for less than what we deserve because we think, you know,
safe, known.
It's safe. It's comfortable, even if it's uncomfortable, right? We're safe in the uncomfortability of it, which, you know, is that how you want to live your life? For a lot of people, that's how they've been living their life. And I think this whole lockdown and what's happening in the world at the moment, it's really getting people to wake up and actually have a look at their life and go, hey, are you actually living the way that you want to be living, or are you just like a walking zombie? Yeah. So what do they need? Yeah. So I believe, or I feel there's a lot of people who are walking around who are really unfulfilled and really, like, they might, on the outside, they might look like they've got it all. They might look like, hey, everything's great, like I'm all good, like there's smiles and everything, but really deep down inside, I feel they're really unfulfilled.
Yeah.
You know, they might say, oh, I've got family, I've got the kids, I've got the house, I've got the husband, or the whatever, but deep down inside, there's that bigger yearning.
Yeah.
Because there's like a void. There's something there that they're not wanting to admit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when they admit, because if they admit it, it's almost like, oh, you know, it makes it real. It makes it real. But they're in denial. For a long time, they've been in denial. But when they actually speak it out loud, it's like, oh, like I don't want to say it because that makes it more real. But by you saying it, and actually giving it the acknowledgement, that starts to then dissipate the energy that you're holding, even though you're not speaking to it, even though you're not acknowledging it, because you're suppressing it, you're still putting energy on it, right? Yeah. So in terms of what they need, really, I feel there's clarity, clarity, confidence, and connection. So when I say clarity, a lot of people are feeling unclear about, you know, especially with what's happening now. It's like, what's going on? There's a lot of uncertainty about what's happening right now. You know, jobs are being lost. And they're not clear as to what it is that they actually want their life to look like. Yes. Yeah, they feel unfulfilled. There's a bigger yearning for them to want to do more, to be more, to have more, but they don't quite know where to start. Yes. Or even think, you know, or a lot of them might be like, oh, you know what, but I should be happy with what I've got. I should be grateful. It's like, yeah, absolutely, be grateful for what you have, but doesn't mean that you can't wish for more. Yeah. Doesn't mean that you can't dream bigger. And because we've been conditioned from a very young age to dim our lights. You know, to stop dreaming so big, stop wanting so much, right? Because it makes us look like we're trying to be materialistic, but it's like, it's not about being materialistic. It's our dreams are there for a reason. Yeah, we have these dreams in our hearts for a reason. It's not a coincidence. It's like God, universe, whoever, higher power. It's like, it's a part of us, and part of our role while we're here is to actually realize that for ourselves, and to actually create the life that we truly, truly desire. Because if we didn't dream about it or think about it, then, you know, why are we thinking about it? Why are we dreaming about it? If it wasn't part of our life purpose. Yeah. Like I always say that there's no coincidences why you love the things that you do. Yes. Yeah? And why you know, that there are things that you hate and there are things that you absolutely love. You know, there's no coincidences. But we, again, because of life, we just do things that we're expected to do instead of doing the things that we would absolutely love to do because of obligations, right? Or, you know, and I get it. Like, you know, there are things that we need to get done, and there are responsibilities, absolutely. But doesn't mean that we can't align our life to still be the way that we want it, as opposed to just, oh, I've got to do this, because of that. And it's like, we're not really living purposefully. We're not living consciously. We're just living day by day. Right. And it's that constant, like Groundhog Day. Yes. But you're not really happy. You're not really fulfilled.
And so not really trusting.
No, you're not trusting. You're not trusting yourself, for one. You're not trusting the universe. You're not trusting the divine guidance that actually brought you here.
Not trusting that, and not trusting that the other people around you that are meant to come with you are going to evolve with you if you let go of the old stuff and who you were and the old identity that
absolutely
maybe, just maybe, you might evolve together.
Yeah, but again, it's because of the past experiences that they've had, but the past doesn't always equal the future. But we hold on to the past so much because we're so scared of, oh, what could happen, like what if, right? But it is
that ever happening again.
But the fact that you're trying to prevent it, again, you're still putting energy on it. Yeah, and like subconsciously you're still putting energy on it, and people don't realize that they're actually putting energy on it because they're trying so hard not to make it happen. But in that trying, they're still putting energy, they're still feeding it. Yeah, and they don't even realize that. So by just acknowledging it and just actually speaking to it, it's like, okay, I know you're there. Yeah. And it's like, then there's no more resistance. Yeah. So when you stop resisting, that's when the energy can actually flow, and then it can move through you. And it's like, oh, actually, that wasn't such a bad thing, right? But it's just the past doesn't equal the future. But we are conditioned to think that just because this happened in the past, it could also manifest again in the future, which is not always the case. We always have choice. Yeah.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, what if I succeed like overwhelmingly?
What would happen then, right? There's the fear of failure, but there's like, what if I do actually succeed? What could that mean? And
it's going to change.
And I actually had that was one of my fears, which I didn't realize I even had, because I went through a divorce, right? Because I was growing and developing, and I was like, you know, the communication that I had with my ex-husband, it basically died. Yeah. And so we were growing in different ways. And so for me, it was like, oh my God, if I continue down this path, what's going to happen to my relationship? Right. And so now having this new relationship, which I've been with, you know, my current partner now for, you know, 6 years or so.
Yes.
It's like, I didn't realize I was still holding on to that in the past, that if I grow, right, if I can keep going down this path, because for a long time I was holding myself back.
Yeah.
I was holding myself back because like I had this thing of, oh, I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be heard. I don't want to, you know, there's a fear of judgment. But the core of that was, what if I actually become successful? And what if I am seen? And what if I am heard? And what if I actually have value to share? And what if I actually become really successful in this? What could that mean? Could that mean that my family unit could, again, break apart, right? Could that mean that my relationship with my partner, again, you know, so all these stories of this BS, right, belief systems that we're holding, but it's not always the truth. So it's that constant questioning, is this true? Is that really true? But I actually didn't realize I had that fear of success. Like, oh, I knew I had a fear of failure, but I didn't realize I had a fear of success. And when I realized that, I was like, oh, okay. It was because of what had happened to me in the past, because of the breakup, because of the marriage breakdown, and all of that. So, but I know that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
Because the past does not equal the future.
It's an open slate for what can happen now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
absolutely.
So did you want to tell us a little bit more about the formula for your personal destiny?
Absolutely. So so these are I call these my 4 steps to rise. Yeah. Yes. And so rise actually stands for, I'll share with it just as an overall thing, and then I'll go through each one. So rise to me stands for realize your personal destiny, ignite your passions, surrender to your soul, and emerge. So realize your personal destiny is all around. So this, I'll share with you a formula, which I actually learned from one of my mentors, Janet Atwood, who is the co-author of the book, The Passion Test. So if you haven't heard of The Passion Test, it's a really simple formula, but I am certified to run their workshops, essentially to help people discover what their top 5 passions are.
Yep.
And I learned a really simple formula to create your life, essentially. So your personal destiny. And this formula is intention, attention, no tension. So intention is really all around getting clear on what's your intention, right? It's not about goal setting, it's intention setting. Yes. Intention setting is about how do you want to be in the world. It's not what do you want to do in the world, it's how do you want to be. Yes, there are things you want to accomplish, but how do you want to be? How do you want to show up? How do you want people to see you? So getting clear on that. And number 1 is also to get clear on your passions. So realizing that, so getting clear on your intentions. Once you're clear on what you're intending, you have to start to place attention towards that. So when you place attention on this, you want to place attention on the things that you want to actually manifest, as opposed to the things that you don't want to have happen. Because I don't know about you, but for most people, we're conditioned to look at the negatives in life, right? Where people are being conditioned to look at the negatives. People are being conditioned to look at the fear.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's a lot of fear happening in the world, and so people are conditioned to look at that. So I'm inviting people to, instead of looking at the fear, instead of looking at the negatives, what's actually positive? What are some things? What are some action steps that you can actually do right now that's going to help you move towards what you're wanting to create, right? And putting your attention on what you can control and putting your attention on the positives. And I want to give you a really simple example. Like say someone wants to have financial freedom or have a better relationship with money, right? That could be their intention. What happens though when they get a bill, maybe like an electricity bill, right? What's their automatic reaction? Is their automatic reaction, oh my God, I can't, like, how could we have, oh my God, like how are we going to afford this?
Yes.
Right? Is that the reaction, or is their reaction, thank you so much, electricity company, because you know what this means? This means that we were able to watch Netflix. This means I was able to use the internet and connect with family on the other side of the world. This means that we were able to use the heater or the air conditioning, whatever it might be. Are we being grateful for what this has given us, or are we
quality of life?
Exactly. Or are we going, oh my effing G,
Yes.
right? How is
stupid energy company? What do I have to pay for power?
Exactly, right. So
Yeah.
and that's the, you know, the polarity of the negative versus the positive. And at the end of the day, we have a choice.
Yeah.
We always have a choice of which way do we want to focus on. And again, this is automatic, but we can train ourselves to look more into the positive and actually be grateful for what this means. Because when we're grateful, it's like, oh, it actually doesn't, it takes away that you know.
Yes.
And when we can put ourselves in a place of gratitude, then we can go, okay, then how can I then pay for this, right? Instead of going, how am I going to pay for this? I can't believe you spent this much. Yeah. And so look at, where are you putting your attention?
Yep.
So that's the attention part. And then the third piece of that is the no tension. So you know your intention, you're starting to place attention towards manifesting this. The no tension is probably the trickiest part for most people, because this is all around letting go. Yep. Letting go and surrendering, letting God, and really being in a place of calm instead of being in a place of stress. Because when you're in a place of calm, you actually allow it's like you open up a vacuum for the things, the people, the synchronicities, opportunities to actually come your way when you're in a place of calm.
As opposed to being a busy signal trying to figure it out.
And
blocking it.
When you're you effectively block it because you can't see it, right? You can't, even if it's there, but you're not open to it. You're not aware to it because you're too busy.
Oh, how am I going to fix it? Over here. It's right here.
Exactly.
Hello.
But you can't do that when you're holding on so tightly. You know, it's like you're expecting it to happen in a particular way. Yes. And that's part of this letting go process. It's like, let go of the outcome. Let go of how you think this is going to manifest in your life. Because infinite intelligence knows infinite ways. Yes. Right? Whereas, you know, like, yes, we're smart, but universe is smarter. Yes. Right? And when we're so fixated on how this thing is going to come, if it comes to us in another way, we're not even looking at it. We're not even open to it. So we actually miss that. Yep. So this is all around letting go and letting God, and just, and that's why it's so tricky, because you're like, it's counterintuitive. You're telling me to have a goal. You're telling me to have an intention. You're telling me to focus on it. You're telling me to take action, but you're telling me to also let go. Like, isn't that a bit counterintuitive? It's like, well, it's like yes and no. Yeah. Because when it's really about, you said it earlier, it's trusting, right? Like, do you trust yourself, and do you trust infinite intelligence? Do you trust God? Do you trust the universe? Yeah. And that's what really tests people, is that no tension. Because everyone can, you know, write a goal. Everyone can intend. Yes, I can take action steps, but the letting go part is really the trickiest part. But that's a big key, because when you let go, that's when magic happens. That's when you allow magic to happen, when you actually just surrender and let go. So that's the 3-step formula for realizing your personal destiny.
Wow, cool.
And so, yeah, I learned that from my beautiful mentor, Janet Atwood, from the Passion Test. And like, I use that formula, right? And time and time again, and I've used it in the past, and I do it time and time again, because it keeps me, it keeps me coming back to a place of, okay, just allow. Yeah. Stop pushing, get back into your feminine, right? Be in a place of, yes, take action, but also be in your feminine flow, because it's the dance between your masculine and your feminine. Know when to take action, know when to just receive, and know when to be in flow. Yeah. So it's that dance.
Feels so good, that energy, doesn't it?
It does. It's letting go feels so good. Like, we hold on to things so much, and we realize when we actually let go, it's like, the energy then dissipates, and then it's like, okay, and then the download comes. It's like that download couldn't come through because your energy was blocked. You couldn't receive it. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Pleasure.
Awesome. And remember, everyone, you can, we'll have Joergette's contact details and everything down the bottom below later. So if you have any questions, you can always check in with her.
Absolutely.
At the end. Now, the simple yet powerful tool to discover your passions.
Yes. So the simple yet really powerful tool. So this is the Ignite Your Passions piece. Yes. And I share this with, when I run my workshops and when I do my coaching. I absolutely love the passion test. Yeah. Because it's so simple and it's so profound. So what the passion test does, it helps you to get clear on your top 5 passions. And when I talk about passions, it's not just about your, people talk about passions, turning passions into profits. It can be, but it's not always about turning your passions into profits. It could be as simple as, what are the things that light you up? Yeah, what are the things that actually get your juices flowing? What lights you up? What are the things that you love doing just because you love doing it? Yeah, so it could be dancing, it could be singing, it could be cooking, it could be anything. But sometimes we've actually stopped doing it because we're so busy with life. Yeah, and so when I talk about passions, it's your career, your business, your relationships, your spirituality, and how much fun you want to be having, your environment where you want to be living. So it's actually looking at a holistic look at your life, looking at each aspect of your life, going, when my life is ideal, I am what? So that's actually the first. When your life is ideal, and you start with that sentence, when my life is ideal, I am. And what is it? And when you're doing this exercise, you want to be audacious and you really want to dream big. Yes. Yeah, this isn't about the how, because when you're doing this process, your mind will be like, but how's that going to happen? How are you going to do that? How are you going to manifest this? Right? It's like, thank you very much, but that's not what I need right now. All we want to do is focus on what is it, right? Give ourselves the permission to really dream big and go, okay, what do I actually want? What do I want to create? And how do I want to be? What do I want to experience? So actually listing that. And then I take them through a process to actually come up with, from their 10 to their top 5, because when you're clear, what you want will show up in your life, but only to the extent that you're clear. So this is about getting clear on what's truly important for you. And, your passions, again, there's no coincidences why you're passionate about the things that you're passionate about, because I always believe your passions will lead you to your purpose. Yes. So if you're questioning, what is my purpose, right? Look to your passions, because your passions are like the breadcrumbs to your purpose. Yep. So that's the simple, powerful tool is the passion test that I'm so love using. I'm so passionate about.
You can feel the energy. Like I'm sitting here just like, I just want to good energy.
Hence the soul igniter, right?
Yes,
hence totally. The soul igniter.
She really is. Are you feeling it? Like she really is.
And this is what I love. This is what I love sharing. This is what I love sharing with people, because it's so simple. Like this, the stuff that we're talking about seems so simple, but this is what like lights me up, and that's because it's had such a profound impact in my life. Yes. And I just want to share it with everyone and anyone that will listen. Amen
to that. Everyone can use a bit more of this. Woo! Yeah. Okay, thank you for sharing that one.
My pleasure.
Tell me, because I'm dying to know, what is the secret to living a passionate and purposeful life?
Yes, everyone wants to know the secret, right? And so again, this is the surrendering to your soul piece. So you've got your passions, right? You've got this list of your top 5. What the heck do you do with this now? So the secret, and you wanna really pay attention to this. So the secret is this: when you are faced with a choice, a decision, or an opportunity, always choose in favor of your passions. Yeah, always choose in favor of your passions, because that is the secret to living a passionate and purposeful life. Sounds so simple. Not always easy. It's simple. It's like, okay, I'll choose in favor of my passions. But would you agree that every day we're faced with choices that we've got to make? People present us with opportunities and we have decisions that we need to make.
Then the employer calls and says, can you stay back until 7 p.m. tonight, when I was going to do that video, or, whatever the thing was.
Exactly, right?
Obstacles.
But again, it comes back to, you always have a choice.
Yeah.
Right? We always have a choice. We have, in that particular scenario, they have a choice to say yes or no.
Yes.
Right? And the question that you'll want to ask is this: is this going to move me closer towards my passions, or is it going to move me away?
Away, yeah.
If it's going to move you closer, then absolutely. Like if it's a resonant yes, say yes. But if it's a no, then you can lovingly say no. Like you don't always have to say yes to everyone just because they're asking you, right? Yes. I know we've become, like, especially women, we've become such people pleasers. I can call myself a recovering people pleaser.
Same.
Still on my journey, but I'm recovering. Like yes. I'm learning to take a step back and go, okay, is this is this my truth to do this? And if it's not, then, you know, and I can say lovingly no, but it's not always easy.
No,
That's a muscle. It's a muscle
yes.
you've got to train and practice.
And at times learning to deal with people's tantrums on the other side of that response. I mean, that can be part of the tricky thing, right? And go, okay.
Because you don't want them to get aggro or be like, oh, you're saying no to me? How could you say no to me? Because how could you? How could you not want to help me? It's like, and that takes practice. About. Yes. Yeah, it takes practice. This is about honoring yourself and honoring what's true for you. You know, and it comes back to self-love, and boundaries as well. That's a big piece of this. But it's around surrendering to your soul, because you're here to do big work, and you feel that, right? There's a part of you that's like, okay, I know that I'm here for a purpose, and I know that I've got things to do, but other people are asking. It's like other people want my energy, right? But you have a choice as to where you put your energy. But it's practice about learning to love yourself first and putting yourself first, because everyone says, oh, but my family comes first, this and that. It's like, actually, if you don't look after yourself, then you can't look after your family. So at the end of the day, you actually have to put yourself first. You should be the most important person in your life to you. Yeah. And again,
oxygen
that was a hard
mask
lesson.
First. Yes. Oxygen
mask first, right? When you're on a plane, what do they say? Put your own mask first before you put on your child's.
Yes.
Right? And that's not being selfish. It's actually, that's an act of self-love, right? And it's reframing that, but we have been conditioned for a long time to stop being selfish, stop only thinking about yourself,
about you, what you
right?
want.
But you actually, when you look at it from a higher level, it's like, actually, this isn't just about me. This isn't about me. Yeah, this is about what I'm here to do for the bigger collective. Right?
And maybe that lines up again with the people we love. Maybe there's a way that what they want, what we want, all lines up. Because remember, the universe, right, is smarter.
Exactly.
Some higher part of us is smarter than, you know, sometimes this part of us is.
Absolutely.
And the abundant way to think about it is there's a way for all those things to be met. But what is that way?
And that's when we let go. It's like when you start saying yes to your true heart's desires, that's when magic and miracles can unfold, right? It's not necessarily going to unfold straight away, but if you are on this path, and I see this time and time again on my journey, and I've seen this and I continue to see this, it's like when I say yes to what's truly important for me, right? Like, and I'll give you an example. Like, I met my partner through salsa class, and I love dancing, and I was like, oh, I want to do dancing, and I had put it off for a long time because I wanted to do salsa classes. And I was like, I'm just, you know, when I went through the separation, I was like, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do all the things that I had put off in the past, because I've got no more excuses now, right? I'm just going to do the things. So I signed myself up to salsa class, and then 2 months later, he comes along to one of my salsa classes, right? And I'm like, and that's how we met. And how we met was because I was following my passions, and I was following my bliss, and focusing on
what you love.
I wasn't there to hook up with anyone, right? Like, that wasn't the intention. I was there to have fun. I was there to follow my bliss and focus on me and get back into my feminine flow. Yes. And lo and behold, he comes along, and it's like, you know, the rest is history. But that's the power of just saying yes. Yes. Right. I'm not saying you're gonna. That's, you know. But that wasn't the intention. But it's like, hey, here he is. Yeah. Because I was open to it. Yeah. And so that's the power of, you know, that's the medicine of passion. And when you say yes to your true heart's desires, like, true magic can really unfold in your life. Yeah. So that's the surrender. Yeah. That's when you surrender to your soul. Again, not always easy, but it's like, are you ready? Like, are you ready to really surrender to your soul and what you're here to do and what you're here to experience as well?
Big one.
So that's the secret.
Woohoo! Now, what's the number one thing that you must do in order to create the life you love?
Yes. It's all well and good to have all these intentions. It's all well and good to have them on paper. It's all well and good to have this intellectually. But the number one thing, in order for you to emerge, which is the last piece, is to emerge from this, is by committing and taking inspired aligned action. Right? It's not always, we can't just sit around and meditate our way to success and meditate and visualize, because yes, that's a big part of it. but we also still live in this physical reality where in order for something to happen, we need to actually take action.
Yes.
Right? We're still in this physical reality. So if you're really serious about changing your life, if you're really serious about making things happen and manifesting your ideal life, you still actually have to take action towards it. You can't just go, okay, I've got my list of top 5 passions and I'm just going to meditate my way through that. Well, no, you actually have to take action towards aligning yourself with that. So really it's about, what are some action steps that you can take? And it's not about it's not about quitting your day job to jump into this thing. It's like, okay, let's use the example of dancing.
Yes.
Right? You don't have to quit your day job, right? To dance.
Yes.
You could just go, okay, I haven't actually been dancing. Well, I'm in lockdown. I can't go to classes. Well, put on some music, right?
Go in the lounge room.
Go in the lounge, and just dance, right? Like it's like you don't have to actually do anything dramatic or drastic to start incorporating more passion into your life. Like if you're someone who used to love dancing but hasn't been dancing, it's like, okay, well, maybe once a week, how can I incorporate more dancing into my life? Whether you do it once a day, once a week, right? And someone who loves to sing, I haven't been singing. Okay, how can you incorporate more of that into your life? I love cooking, but I don't really do that anymore. How can you incorporate that into your life? So it's just reshifting how this is the I guess the how piece of how can we actually take action. But it's not about the second piece of this is not just taking action for the sake of taking action. It's about taking inspired, aligned action.
Yes.
Right? It's not just doing the do because you think it's going to take you, to the next thing. It's about going, okay, does this feel aligned?
Yeah.
And am I inspired to do this? Does this actually excite me?
Yeah.
And if it's a yes, then again, take the action. Don't take action because of fear, because again, the energy is not the same. It's like, are you doing it because of fear or are you doing it because of love?
Yes.
Yeah, two very different energies.
Yes.
But the biggest thing about this is about making a commitment to yourself and actually taking inspired action when you feel guided to do that. And again, that's not easy, right? Because you might be given an opportunity, right? And it's going to lead you closer to your passions or to your goals. But it's like, but then the fear, it's like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. How am I going to do that? I can't afford to do that. All of our stuff all of a sudden comes to the surface. Yeah. But it's in those moments where the resistance, we can feel the resistance, but I invite you to still to move through that resistance.
Lean
in, right? Lean in and feel it, like lean into that resistance, because when you can come through to the other side, it's like, wow, right? It's not about, it's about the person you become when you actually move through the resistance. This is not about the goal that you're ticking on the other side. This is about the person the person that you actually become through that journey. That's the most important part. It's the person you become. It's not about ticking the box. It's like, all the changes and the transformation that you actually had to go through in order to be the person to accomplish that goal.
Yes.
In order to be the person to manifest that desire. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the number one key thing is to still, you got to commit and take inspired, aligned action. That's how you emerge from this.
Beautiful.
So that's my 4-step formula, my 4 steps to rise.
Yay. Now, if anyone has questions or they would like to totally emphatically would like to explore this with you, because I think we're selling this pretty well without even trying to sell. This is about it's just about the authenticity of, you can feel the raw, beautiful energy of, that's what soul is, right? It's the alignment.
Absolutely.
So if you're feeling it, sorry, you finish.
No, totally. Like this is soul work. This is you saying yes to your soul, and me saying yes to my soul radiates that passion. Now, I'm just sharing, like all I'm doing, I'm just sharing, but I'm sharing from a place of love and passion, and how can I serve and how can I really share this and really give it my all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So if people want to continue exploring this with you, what have you got coming up for them to do that?
Amazing. So I'm really excited because I'm actually going to be hosting my first masterclass, my Soul Ignition, calling it Soul Ignition 3-day masterclass. Now this is happening on the 10th of the 10th, 2020, because I just love numbers. So 10-10. So it actually works out to be a Saturday. which is cool. So how this is going to work is it is a free 3-day masterclass because I want to explore and dive deeper into what I've shared today. Essentially, it's a 3-day masterclass where each day I'm going to dive deeper into what I've shared about my 4 steps to rise. It'll be through a Facebook group. So, you know, if anyone's interested, I'll share the link to the Facebook group.
We'll put it with this video too. Yep.
So that's happening on the 10th of the 10th, 2020. I would love to invite you to that because, yeah, if this has really inspired you or ignited your soul in some way, you're going to want to be on that 3-day masterclass where we dive into this. So that, I'm excited about that because that's going to be that's coming up in a couple of, I think 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah.
About that?
Yeah, about a couple of weeks. So I'm excited because that's going to be my first ever masterclass that I'm hosting. Woohoo! So come along to that. I would love to share more of this with you. Yeah.
Beautiful. So we'll pop the links for that below and in the comments, and also we'll put the links to your social media pages on there as well.
Awesome. Yeah.
So as if you are loving the energy of this, loving the content, loving Joergette's insights, then you can continue to connect with her via Facebook, your website, Insta, and LinkedIn.
Yeah, all the things.
All the things.
There's somehow you can connect me. But yeah, definitely, I love connecting with people, and I just want to ignite more souls. That's my purpose. Is I just want to ignite more souls.
Yay! Beautiful. All right. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to add before we finish up?
No, I just wanted to say thank you. This has been so much fun. Like, it's been so much fun just sharing this space with you and just sharing my energy and sharing what I love to do. And I feel really honored and humbled to be part of this interview series. So thank you for the opportunity.
Likewise. And thank you to everyone who's going to be watching this in future. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
whether you're watching it 5 days from now or 50 years from now, just know that you were meant to see this. That this was meant to touch your soul in some way. Hell
yes. Wow. Amen to that. So beautiful. Amazing. Thank you all again. Do connect with Joergette on the links, and I think that's it for today. Do feel free to share any aha moments if you've had insights or ahas during this as well. Free to comment them because we'd love to hear.
Absolutely.
And do connect with Joergette.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
And as always, live your passions, love your life. Thank you so much. Thanks, Nat.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye all.